Lizzy Savetsky, a pro-Israel activist, and Jessica Tarloff, you know her well, co-host of The Five. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning.
Jessica, I'm struck by the what we heard there from these folks saying there are real questions about whether people safely feel they can express their Jewish heritage and identity in this city at this moment.
It has been an issue, as Bill just pointed out, since October 8th. That's when this started, and it feels like it certainly hit a crescendo right after and got a little bit easier, and now it's back up. I know people in all denominations of the Jewish community who feel at risk constantly. Those questions that were being asked about whether children can wear their kippahs, whether you wear your Star of David necklace, and that it feels actually like a brave act to go out there and be so openly Jewish. It's a very strange and disturbing reality for a city with so many Jews in it. I mean, it's the largest population of Jews outside of Tel Aviv.
That's right. And apparently the victim was wearing a yarmulke and was near a synagogue, so clearly it could have been a target. Lizzy, I want to get you in on here, but first, soundbite number 2 now. This is Rabbi Ari Berman. Your rabbi?
No.
Okay, the rabbi at the press conference is yours. All right, listen to this right here. Watch.
Mayor Mamdani is dangerous to all New Yorkers. And you can ask yourself these questions after hearing his obsessive focus on Israel and denigrating Israel. Do New Yorkers feel more safe? Do New Yorkers feel more united? And I think the answer is clearly no. And it's just a betrayal to New York. And he needs to be called out on it.
What I think, Lizzy, this is the same drumbeat that you've been talking about for years now.
Exactly. You know, I can't help but start by saying that Zohran Mamdani is a complete and utter failure as mayor. And the fact that he films a video that is released everywhere demonizing the prime minister of the only Jewish state, and 2 days later we have a Jewish man and an Asian man, because it never ends with the Jews, stabbed in the street as the attacker yells Allah Akbar. So this is not a coincidence. This is what globalizing the Intifada looks like, a phrase that Zohran Mamdani still has yet to condemn. And, you know, I fear for our future. I think that, you know, with this kind of rhetoric being so normalized, I got into a taxi this week, and in the back of the cab, in the taxi TV, that speech of Mamdani's was playing. I can't even take a taxi without anti-Israel propaganda being thrown in my face, being blasted at me in the most Jewish city in America, the most Jewish city outside of Israel. So, you know, what do they expect is going to happen?
Yeah, he said he would arrest him, and the next day conceded that he didn't have the power to do that.
Well, because he's another campaign promise he can't keep.
Well, and apparently he knew that ahead of him saying these things, that he knew he couldn't make the arrest, and yet he kept talking about it. So the New York Post editorial board talks about this, saying vibes are all he can offer a space. They say, when you can't deliver substance, go big on vibes. The arrest thing was always pure fantasy, a story the global left Islamist alliance tells itself about, quote, international law.
Yeah, so the talk of arresting Bibi Netanyahu was definitely a virtue signal. It was on the campaign trail, and it was when he released this video. He did try to expand it to say anyone who's wanted by the ICC, you know, we would try to. But famously, the UN hosts many people who have a warrant out for their arrest by the ICC. So it felt personal. I would say, and as a bit of pushback here, and that is not in any way to diminish the threats and the risks, certainly to the Jewish community, that Zohran Mamdani is more popular with Jewish New Yorkers than Bibi Netanyahu is. And Bibi Netanyahu has arguably, you know, mishandled October 7th, that there were, you know, clear warnings that something was going to happen. And there are...
Bibi Netanyahu does not govern the people of New York City.
He absolutely does not. I'm just saying that I think that it is a very important point, which Mark Levine was making, that we have to really separate criticism and attacks on Jewish people from being able to criticize Israel, and he is the head of the government.
These are the anti-Semitic incidents. Number 4, hang on 1 second here. Put them on screen, okay? You can see how they've increased 2024 to 2025. He's well aware of these numbers, all right? New York led the nation in anti-Semitic assaults, harassment, and vandalism. 85 of the 90 anti-Semitic assaults in New York State were documented in New York City. 860 anti-Semitic incidents were documented, representing 74% of all incidents in New York State. It's pretty obvious, Lizzy.
When if you're going to blame Bibi for anti-Semitism instead of blaming the people who continue to promote this idea that we can hold Jewish people across the world responsible for Israel's government, that is anti-Semitism. You cannot blame the democratically elected leader of Israel for the rise in anti-Semitism in New York City, no matter if you like him or not. The fact is that Mamdani consistently singles out Israel and only Israel. You know, he was angry that Maduro was arrested, but he has, but he wants to arrest Bibi. He tells him he's not welcome in New York. I just am not really understanding how people aren't seeing so clearly.
Time to read the room. He's governing this city now, and
yeah, if I'm a voter, I don't care about a democratically elected leader across the world. I want you to focus on what you need to do in this city: affordability, schools, housing, all the things that he is failing to do because he is obsessed with condemning Israel.
Thank you, Lizzy. Jessica, thank you.
Yep.
We'll see you guys a bit later today.